Okay, so, oh my goodness. This is the story about the 3 gangsters that I try to foster in my home. Oh my god. Um, if anybody says cats are not intelligent, they're dead wrong. They're dead wrong. They're freaking master manipulators, okay? Just so you know. Alright, so let's begin where it was 2023, around, I'm gonna say, summer months, I guess. And I just took a long break from fostering 11 cats in my home, got them all adopted, and I was just taking a little break. I believe I had Mommy and Lilo at this point in my home, or they have left somewhere around that thing. But I had my guest room available for new foster cats. There were a few cats left outside that I was feeding, but those were hard to capture because they won't let me pet them. They have not seen me pet other cats. The entire colony that loved me and let me pet them and touch them and carry them and whatnot, I've already like kind of taken them in, gotten all the vaccinations done, gotten them adopted. And other than that, okay, so without getting distracted, I had a lot of help from NAWS Humane Society. They really helped me get all of these street cats saved, vaccinated, and adopted, and all of that. They took care of all the medical stuff. They supported me very, very much. So with their help, I was able to save 27 cats. Now, after that was done, I took a small break. I realized that my guest room, which was set up for the foster cats, is empty. And I was like, okay, I've gotten enough break. I think I can probably house a few cats in here. And I know that NAWS Humane Society keep their cats in cages. And sometimes they're in cages for a year or more. So I asked them if they would lend me, like they would let me foster a 2 or 3 cats that have been in the cages for a very long time, and they just want to stretch their legs, get into the home environment, and I can help socialize them and whatnot. So they asked me if I would take the 3 orange tabby cats that they are having a hard time socializing because they had ringworm twice back to back, and because of those, the the volunteers who would administer all the medicines for that was handling them, and they got so afraid. Sorry, 2 cardinals. Oh my god, they got so afraid to be touched by anyone that they would just have in a like one little ball with all 3 of them scooched up in the corner of the cage, and that's when it's very hard for them to get adopted. Like if a potential adopter comes and the cat doesn't interact with them, that gets really hard for that cat to get adopted. So they said, can you take them in? I said, sure. I have a whole room. I can give them all the space they need. Like, I won't touch them if they don't want me to, whatever the case is. So there's a window in the room. I put the cat tree next to the window so they can look out the window. They had, food, water, everything was set up. So when I first got them, obviously they were very, very scared because they're in a new environment. It smells different. Doesn't smell like NAWS. They have been there forever, and this is different. So I set up in one little corner where I set up all of their carriers, and then I set up food, litter right in that corner. So they don't have to go venture out in the room further away. They can just stay in that room. I also had a camera set up in the room so I can keep an eye out while I'm at work. Just wanted to make sure they're doing okay. Anyways, everything was fine for a few weeks, and then they start to venture out in the room, which is great because now they're getting more confident and kind of hanging out. Now, the names, one is Gregory, the other is David, and then there's Mark. Okay, personalities. David is more of a laid back, doesn't really care what Gregory and Mark are doing, but he seems more like the Godfather type. Like he's the mafia boss. He likes to stand back and watch, while Gregory and Mark does the act, which this is important. This is coming up. So Gregory is like the henchman who gets, I think who's the one who acts it out, like who does the thing, and then Mark is like the right hand person who kind of supports Gregory in whatever he needs to do. So this is all important because I'm just setting up a scene here. All right. So I was at work one time. I was like, let me just check up on that and see what they're doing. The camera wouldn't load. It just said camera offline. So I was like, oh, I don't know. Maybe they unplugged it. I don't know what happened why it's offline. So that's the only reason, because they might have unplugged it. So I got back and I plugged it back in, and I just put a couple of painter's tape on it so they won't unplug it. The next thing you know, they unplug it again with the painter's tape. So I was like, I didn't think any of it. I was like, maybe they're just playing with it or whatever. I'm glad they did not get electrocuted, because that was another concern. They're okay. So again, the camera was unplugged, and I was like, I didn't think any of it. Now, instead of keeping the door closed of that bedroom, I actually have a net, a cat containing net on the door frame. I have used a upholster staple to staple it onto the door frame. It has a zipper, so you can open the zipper to go in and out, but it kind of becomes a cage, but it's a whole room is their cage, and I don't have to close the door and keep them cooped up in the room. So in that way, it lets the air pass, it lets them sniff the house and other smells in the house and whatnot. One evening I was doing something downstairs, and my cats were getting a little finicky, so I was like, what's going on? And then I heard a sound, and I'm like, let me go upstairs and check what's going on. And long and behold, I got upstairs and I'm seeing Mark walking out from the net and walking straight into my bedroom, which is right across. And I was like, how did he get out? Like, I don't understand. So there are two zippers right there, and this is important. So I went to check up, and then David comes out too, and I'm like, hey, what the heck you guys are doing? Get back in. And then I saw that the zipper was open from the bottom. Both of them like were open, and that's how they escaped. So I was like, oh, okay, so they figured out how to open the zipper. So then what I did is, instead of leaving the two zippers down where it's easy for them to open, I moved it up to this level on the zipper chain, because it goes like that. And so it, so I moved the zipper up to this level, my level. So I was like, I was like probably hoping that they're not going to climb the net and then try to open it, which was, to me, I was like, not really obvious, but okay. Anyways, the next thing you know, Gregory is hanging onto the net. I saw him put his claw through it. He opened it up and he jumped out. And I was like, what in the world? Now here's it. For both scenarios, I went back to my phone so I can see how they did it. And long and behold, the camera was unplugged both of the times. So I have no recording of how they did it. Now this is also important. Then what I did is like, okay, well, since he's opening it, I'm just going to put a zip tie on the two zippers so that there's no way they can open it. Because if I'm home, I don't want them hanging out in the house and interact with my cats, because they don't like each other. I don't want them to get into like brutal fight, because they can get into brutal fight. And at this point, I can only touch Gregory easily, because Gregory was the one who would come to me, sit in my lap, blah, blah, blah. David would hide from me. He would let me touch him occasionally. But Mark is like, you don't touch me, lady. You don't touch me. And when I can only touch Mark when he's eating. And I just wanted to get him used to the touch. Gregory and Mark usually stay together, so I figured they're bonded. David didn't really care. Anyways, so a couple days goes by, no events. And then I was working on something downstairs, or I was eating dinner, whatever the case was. And my cats were like looking upstairs, and I was like, what's going on? So I was like, let me just go check up on the three gangsters and see what they're up to. At this point, the zip ties are working, right? That's what I thought. So I'm climbing the stairs, and there's this middle gallery area in the middle of my staircase where my cats like to sit sometimes. And David is sitting in that area. He's looking at me, I'm looking at him. I'm like, oh, hey. And it's not registering that he's actually out of the room. And I'm thinking to myself, I wasn't thinking, actually. I was not thinking. I'm just looking at him. And then I paused and I'm like, how did you get out? And then he runs back to the room and he goes through the net. And I'm looking at him and I'm like, no, the zippers are up there. How? I'm like, are they like going through something solid? Like, what am I seeing here? Because from far away, that's what it looks like. So I got up close and, Gregory and Mark are hanging out in my bedroom, and then they turned around, and when I yelled at them, they ran back in the room and they went through that little opening. And after inspecting it, I saw that the seam on the zipper was ripped open so they can escape. Now I checked again. I was like, ran back downstairs to check my, at this point I closed the door, ran back downstairs to check the camera, but there's nothing on the camera because the camera is unplugged. You see where I'm getting at? Like, before they do the heist, they make sure all the surveillance is taken care of. Okay, all right. I said, okay, all right, we can still work with this. Now, I don't have time to take the entire netting out and sew it and then put it back up. That's a lot of work, to be honest, and I didn't have time for that. I didn't have energy for that. So I said, you know what, I'm gonna let the net be. But instead I started to close the door. My door had knobs, not handles. So I'm like, okay, at least it's knobs. They're not gonna be able to open this, right? Dead wrong, dead wrong, dead wrong. Okay, so this is what happens. One day, I mean, at least for a couple of days I don't hear anything, but one day I hear a sound, klum, and I was like, are they breaking the walls now? Like, if they can't come out of, they're breaking the door or walls, and I can hear them hitting the door or whatnot, and I just don't understand what's going on. Anyways, I went upstairs to check. The door was wide open. The 3 cats, the gangsters, were in my bedroom hanging out. And I'm looking at them like, how in the world did you get out? Let me check the phone to check the camera, and guess what? It was unplugged. At that moment, I felt like these guys are definitely aliens, because there's no way they unplugged the camera before they did this, right? There's no. Okay, anyways, so I felt a little bit defeated, because I would be like, this would have been a cool viral video to show how they escaped the room, but I have literally have no recording of it whatsoever. No recording of it. I'm just yeah, you guessed it. So then I was like, okay, well, now they figured out how to open the door, so I'm just going to lock the door. Now it's one of those knobs that you can actually insert a little pin to unlock it from the outside, so that's easy. But I'm like, I'm just gonna lock it from inside, and hopefully that takes a little more effort for them to turn, and hopefully they're not able to open it. So that worked. We're good. That did work. They were not able to open the lock. So I was in their bedroom one afternoon playing with them, trying to get them used to me, and I saw Mark assisting Gregory. Like, Gregory jumped on the doorknob, and he was hanging on the doorknob, and Mark was just right there. Like, I don't know what Mark was gonna do next, but I looked at him. I'm like, what? And I'm trying to like look for my phone. I don't have my phone to record this, and I was like, oh, at least the camera is gonna catch it. And I turned on, and the camera was unplugged. I have no proof that this happened with me, but believe me, it did. And hands down, orange tabbies are very, very smart. They'll figure everything out. They're very smart. As of now, David was adopted to a good family, and Mark and Gregory were adopted together to a different family. I did write them a really good biography, so Noz can put them on their website, and yeah, they're with their families now, which is a great thing. And I hope they're happy and healthy. Thank you so much for being here, for listening to my story. There are more stories to come. Our lives are filled with stories. If you want to share your story, you can always email me your story at my email address in the description, and I'll be more than happy to share it with the world. And I'm an independent artist. I'm doing this by myself, making music, writing a book. I wrote a book on my dating experience to help women empower them and see their own worth, and also empress the heck up. So join me in my mission, join me in my journey. Every single support you give me counts towards giving me the encouragement I need to keep moving forward. It is hard sometimes to do this independently. And please subscribe to my channel. Please go follow me on Instagram. Please follow me on TikTok. Your support means the world to me. It helps me keep going, like I said. Please go buy my book if you're interested in what I've written. And it might benefit you. It might benefit somebody you know. Trying to make the world a little bit of a better place, one step at a time, by changing myself first and then being the catalyst for the rest. So yeah, that's it for today. Take care. I'll see you in the next video, inshallah. And do not drink and drive. Do not text and drive. Please know that you are precious and valuable. I love you. Take care. Bye.